What's up, everybody? Philly Soccer Page post-game show. I'm Mike Servideo here with Greg Orlandini and Steve Whistler tonight. Um, Union played out a 0-0 draw with Columbus Crew. A little bit of a dour match on a cold St. Patrick's Day afternoon. Your initial thoughts?
Yeah, not a ton to talk about. Clean sheet is great. Two clean sheets. I think that's really good for your young defense. I thought probably the brightest spot for me for the Union was Austin Trusty. I thought he really improved from the first game to this game. Was very commanding, good on the ball. We talked about it a little bit in the press conference with Jim. Was able to carry the ball pretty well
Yeah.
into the offense and get some good passes off. Some strong tackling. So for me, he was really the bright spot. The flip side of that was just what happened in the final third, which was nothing. I mean, there was really no cutting edge for the Union in this game.
Bright spots for you, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the defense against a Crew team that they haven't had trouble scoring in their previous two games. Yeah, and obviously Doc Jaw is the one thing that we were looking forward to, his debut. I thought that, yeah, again, he acknowledged in the press conference that he could have done better with finding the ball. I think a lot of times you saw him making runs up the field instead of coming to the ball. So I think as they get more comfortable, that's something that they're going to have to figure out for sure.
Yeah, I think you'll see a little bit more chemistry with Doxall going forward. I think there looked to be a couple of times where he played a ball into space and a guy stayed home, and vice versa. So we'll see how that works out. They seem to really have David Accam locked up today on the left side. He really didn't get the ball going forward too much. Is that more, do you think, on Columbus being cognizant, or does David need to do something else to get involved?
I think it was a little bit to do with just what the Union midfield was doing as well, because they were really overloaded. I thought on the right side, you really saw Herbers start out on the right, and then Burke came in. He was more on the right, and you really saw Bedoya was just kind of drifting off into the right a lot. So I think Akon was isolated a lot, and didn't maybe have the help he could have used if Bedoya had stayed more centrally and was kind of covering one side or the other instead of just really staying to the right. But again, I think Columbus had a good game plan on him. I mean, there weren't too many times where he didn't look up but had two or three guys in his face.
Yeah, it seemed like every time he got the ball, they had people clamping down, and as Jim mentioned in the conference, they, instead of normally we're awful, the Columbus fullback is pushing up all the way, they had him sit back, so that way Accam couldn't find that space behind. I mean, that was probably the Union's game plan the whole time, was just have Harris hit those balls over the top. So they shut that down, and you didn't really see any of the switching passes across the field that Harris normally likes to do. So that's something that I was kind of surprised by, since they were so heavily pinned on the right.
So let's talk a little bit more about that right side. Fabian Herber's kind of a in and out night. Didn't really get a ton of great touches, especially in the final third. I think you saw Corey Burke come in, made an impact on the game again. I thought that he was a little bit more involved than Herber's. Where do you see that matchup going? I think we're still another game without Fafa Bako. So you go out to Colorado in 2 weeks. Give Corey Burke a nod maybe.
I would give Burke a nod out there just because he's a little bigger, a little stronger guy. Maybe on the road where it might be a little more of a physical battle against Colorado. You're battling elements, stuff like that. So out and out speed might not be as much of a factor. More kind of strength and guile. And we saw he could do some good technical things when he hands the ball. So the last two games, I think Burke has made a pretty good case for himself to be in the starting 11.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I think it really, and it does offer a change of pace. And I think with Colorado, who's probably going to sit back in bunker, I'm assuming it's Colorado. I could see them sitting back, and so maybe then at the end of the game is where like Herbers is actually more of an impact sub that way against that kind of game plan. So absolutely.
Well, I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. I think we'll wrap up there. Union Columbus ends 0-0 today. Union another bye week next week, and then back in action March 31st in Columbus. We'll see you then.